Hello, everyone. So we are back again.
What? Giving up on carbs is the worst way to lose weight, and here's why. Your brain runs on carbs, your muscle need.
Hello, everyone. We are back again with another very important video from Triumphant Institute of Management Education Private Limited. And in today's video, we are going to discuss how do you set your plan for the next 9 months. For those of you who have already decided to take CAT 26, and for those of you who are still deciding. So this is the right time, and it would be a smart move to start with your CAT 26 preparation now. Now, why would it be a smart move? Because you will get to study at your own pace. You will get to identify your weak areas and work on them. You'll have enough time to do that. At the same time, you will also have time to plan your strategy, to plan different types of strategies and see what works for you, what doesn't. Right? So here we go. And as you know, before we start, let us, for those of you who have already decided, some of you may have already joined our classes, but those who have still undecided, yes, for them, the what is the importance of MBA? What is the edge that MBA gives you? One, financial independence, which is a very big thing. Now, see, even as freshers, you can get jobs, right? But when you look at the curve, the career path that is there, so after 2 years, where you will reach, right? You have to compare that with what if you join an MBA, a good B school, right? And where would you be placed after you complete your 2 years of education? And there'll be a gap. After having gone through the B school education, you will be placed at a higher position. So financial independence in that sense, you will have more money in hand also, right? Career growth, as we just talked about that. So after the B school education, you are placed at a higher position. You have more job responsibilities, right? And because you have more job responsibilities and you now know you've been professionally trained how to cope with them, you will be able to grow much faster. Whatever problems that crop up during the job, you will be able to manage all of that well. You will be able to find proper solutions. You'll be able to uh, use the resources that are given to you in the most optimal manner. And you will definitely be helping your own career as well as the achieving the objectives and goals of the organization too. And yes, more job options would be there in front of you. There are so many different types of specializations. You can do a general MBA, yes, and wherein you can take up electives from depending upon whatever your interest is in. So it could be marketing or HR or finance or data analytics. There are so many options these days. So more job options available for you, more job opportunities, more openings. And yes, when we think of job security, so in these times of continuous upheaval and change, even in the business world, so it is it is not always, the person, if you have better job opportunities, then it will be difficult for the organization to just fire you. Yes, so that hiring and firing thing that is there, which people are scared of these days. So with an MBA, MBA will act as a shield for you then at that time, right? And obviously, you will have to apply your whatever learnings that have been there in the B school and do well in your career and show your mettle there. There's definitely social respect, and with the networking and credibility that it gives you, especially if you are thinking of starting your own business, right? Then the networking is definitely going to help you, not only in terms of connections, business connections, but also in terms of mentorship. And definitely, when you go looking for the seed fund, then the MBA gives you that credibility that yes, here is a person we can bank on. Here's a person who knows what to do and has a well thought out plan, a credible plan, right? So, starting with that, let us get to know CAT. So, what is CAT and why is it so popular? Yes, so this is the admission test for common admission test for a number of B schools. More than 150 B schools will be taking the CAT score, the CAT percentile, and along with that, there would be all the IIMs that are there, 22 of them. Now, this exam that is there is rightly called the mother of all exams because of the wide reach that it has in terms of admission to various B schools and all the top B schools in the country. All the top B schools, you will see that, barring, let's say, XLRI, yes, all of them would be taking CAT. The CAT percentile will be your starting point when you apply for the admission to all these colleges. Now, this exam, the CAT exam, it has got three sections. Now, over the years, if you look at the, 10 years, 15 years down the line, over the years, the exam has changed a bit. But in the last few years, what we have seen is that, yes, three sections. And the sections, the first section would be the VARC section, the second would be the DILR, and the third would be the quantitative ability section. Quantitative aptitude also you can call it. Now, you cannot decide which section to start with. You will start with VARC, the English section, then go to the data interpretation and logical reasoning section, and then to the quantitative ability section. So in the CAT 2025, there were 24 questions for VARC, 4 theta. Now, what is theta? Theta is type in the answer, wherein they have not given you the answer options, non-MCQ questions as they're also called. Then you have DILR, which had 11 theta questions. Now, 22 questions there in all for the DILR section. Now, here it's like, small caselets kind of questions are there. And for the QA, again, 22 questions and 8 theta questions. Each section is given 40 minutes. As the 40 minutes get over, the section changes, switches to the next section. So you have to be very careful with your time management. And that is what you will be practicing in these months also, slowly and steadily, right? So VRC 40 minutes, DILR 40 minutes, QA 40 minutes. So many things you have to think. You have to decide the questions that you want to pick. You have to decide the questions that halfway also you may decide to leave that question. So that kind of understanding will come with regular practice of different types of questions that are there, right? So total time, it's a computer-based test, and the total time is 2 hours, marking scheme, +3 for the correct answer, -1 for a wrong answer, and 0 for a non-MCQ question. Now, excuse me, CAT also comes up with a sample paper. Now, the sample paper, and with a disclaimer that the sample paper and the actual paper may not be exactly the same, right? So it's just to give you a look at the different types of questions that can be there or the pattern, right? Now, what happens here? Every year we see, like we are talking about CAT 25 over here. Now, CAT 24 also had 68 questions, but the number of theta questions for each section was different. So VRC had only 2 theta questions. No, DILR had 10. QA still had 8. So do not, in any case, think that the previous year's exam is going to be exactly the same as the year before that, and the upcoming exam is going to be a reflection of CAT 25 completely. More or less, yes, but there can be differences. Okay, so here. Now, whether you are a college student or you're a working professional or you have taken a gap year from your, after your graduation or from your work, now you will have to manage your time accordingly. So if you have taken a gap year, so then you have lots of time on hand. You need to plan your day. You need to plan your day. You need to make sure that you're regular and there is no, burnout kind of thing that is there. So gap year, you have got more time. Remember that. So don't while away that time. Use that time in the best possible manner. As working professionals, you have got the pressure of the work also that is there, deadlines that you have to meet. And as college students too, you have got exams. And of course, then the two of you, the college student as well as the working professional, there would be time spent in commuting. Still, you will have to take out time, extra time from your daily routine to incorporate the preparation for CAT 26. You've got 9 months to go, right? You start doing now. As it is said that, once you start doing something and after a few days, after, let's say, about 3 weeks, it becomes a habit. So you have to incorporate reading, you have to incorporate, all the time that you spend unnecessarily on social media, which is not fruitful for you. That kind of social media, you need to avoid that. You can get up a little, 15 minutes early and sleep 15 minutes late. So half an hour, as it is, you've gained in the day. You can go through some light reading or, going through the formula and all during your commute time in case you're traveling by public transport and not driving yourself in the college or during the lunch hours in the office if it is possible. Yes, if there is a library time, something like that, you can utilize that time. The weekends or at least you must be having some free days, right? So those days can be utilized to the full. You will have to do that consciously. Slowly and steadily, you will enjoy the whole process. It's not just, you prepare for CAT, and along the way, you're also preparing for the next stage, which would be the essay or the GD or the interview also. Now, of the three sections, the VARC section is said to be the silent killer. Still, it is also a game changer. Why is it known as the silent killer? Why is it known as the silent killer? Because because people take too many guesses over here. You're in such a hurry, English is something that you understand. You know it well. So you read it once and yes, you can get all the answers. No, it's not that easy. There's a lot of, active reading, in-depth reading that you have to do and understand the nuances of the author's writing, right? So you have to be very careful over here. So, even if you think that you are good at this particular section, still you will need to give enough time. All the three sections, most of the colleges will have sectional cutoffs. That means each section, some minimum percentile that you need to score, plus a minimum percentile in the overall. Now, for that, you cannot neglect any section that is there. And this is one section where you can score a lot also. This is one section that sees maximum scores also and maximum, you can say negative marking also because of the guesses that people take. So you don't want to be in that category, the guess maker. Yes. So for you, it should be a game changer in the manner that it works for you in a very positive manner. So daily reading habit has to be inculcated. While you're reading, the casual reading has to be completely avoided. Your reading should be focused in understanding what the author is trying to say. So every time you read something, no? So in your mind, you think that, okay, this is what the author meant. Why has the author written this article? For whom is this article intended for? What is the intent of the author? So you start doing that. Author will obviously, take you through the article. So it's like a story in the sense that there's going to be an idea flow. So that flow chart of ideas in your mind, mapping the whole passage in your mind, that kind of thing you need to start with, right? And vocabulary, many times it happens that uh, contextual meaning you understand, that is okay, fine, yes, but sometimes, especially when a difficult word appears in the question or in the answer option. See, in the passage contextually you may be able to understand, but when it appears in the question or answer option, then you are completely flummoxed. Now what to do? I don't know the meaning of this word. How do I pick or eliminate this option? So vocabulary building will go hand in hand. And we cannot discount grammar. Though no direct grammar based questions or direct vocab based questions are there in the CAT exam in the last few years. But these are the two main pillars that the author uses along with critical reasoning. So, yes, you will have to brush up on grammar also, and how grammar is used in CAT. That you will get to know in class. Then, when it comes to reading comprehension, you have to read on diverse topics. Say, let's say I love sports. So I love to read the sports column from different newspapers. Good for me. Yes. But what will happen that, let's say a passage comes on science or something related to business, then I will be reading it slower. I won't be probably not understand things very clearly. And that, discomfort will be there in my mind. So that is the reason why you have to make yourself familiar with different topics. It's not that you have to, be like a PhD student over there. But yes, conversant with different types of writings, different topics, that is going to give you an edge for sure. Critical reasoning based questions are there. We will see later on also. So you have to exactly think that, okay, does the author want us to think of this in a literal manner only, or is there a deeper meaning over there? Right? So active reading has to be done, not passive reading. It's not that when you finish reading and you're like, oh, what did I read? And you go back and reread. And you have to go back for every question and reread. You don't have so much of time, my dear, in the CAT exam. So these are certain things that will come with time. They will not happen overnight. Any improvement will take some time, especially in the VARC section where, at least a month or two of continuous reading practice and the question practice, then only you will be a little bit more confident that yes, I'm on the right path. To understand the central idea, the idea flow, and the tone of the author. Very crucial, very crucial. If you do this, then there would be a number of questions where you would not need to go back at all and answer the question, right? So important over here. Active reading, so reading in between the lines is important. The kind of examples that the author has come up with. Why has this example been taken up? What does this example convey? So you have to slowly and steadily get yourself in the feet of the author and understand from the author's point of view. Because when you answer the question, yes, the questions will be answered based on the passage that has been given to you, not on some external knowledge that you have gained else from elsewhere. The general awareness thing is there, so that's okay, that's fine. But otherwise, the questions are based on the passage and you have to answer from there. So it's like an open book test. You can consider it like that. Then the VA question types that are there. The VA question types are the four types of para-based questions that are there. So the para summary is like a small RC. You can consider it like that. Then the para jumbles, where the sentences are jumbled and you have to put them together in the right order to get a coherent paragraph. So here your logical flow has to be maintained. And here you will see when you start practicing that grammar plays a big role, right? Sentence placement, well, you can say that it is like a small subset of parajumble, you can say. Now, sentence placement questions, last couple of years, what in the CAT when they have appeared, so they have been like, a paragraph is given with many blanks, with four blanks, and a sentence is given to you. And you have to decide where does this sentence fit in the paragraph. So this is again related to logical flow. Pick the odd sentence, five sentences given in a jumbled order, in a mixed up order. And you have to decide which sentence will not be part of the paragraph if I have to frame a paragraph here. So in the class, you will get all the, you know, you learn on all the nuances of how to eliminate options, how to pick options, but you have to make sure that you make out time for practice. So let us, divide this whole thing. First, the 9 months into three parts. First would be months 1 to 3, then 4, 5, 6, then 7, 8, 9. So in the beginning months, you should focus on accuracy rather than speed. Speed will come with practice. But your focus should be accuracy. Even if, even if a passage takes you, let's say 15, 20 minutes to read, do that. But read more often so that you reduce your reading time and increase your reading speed. Same thing for a quant question if it takes you 4 5 minutes to solve, but you can solve it using your own logic. using the formulas that you've learned, that would be good. So accuracy over speed. Remember this. In the beginning, that has to be your mantra. So for reading comprehension and verbal ability, daily reading is a must, right? Must. So you read, and as you said, you summarize in your head. Think of the key idea that was there. Get comfortable with unfamiliar topics. Now, if let's say any XYZ topic which I don't like to read on, so I constantly, say, okay, I'm not going to read this. Later. Don't do that. Pick those passages, pick those subjects, those topics that you do not like or you don't know anything about. Right? Along with obviously the other passages, other passage types or topics that you like. So this will give you a certain level of familiarity with different kinds of topics. So eclectic reading, as we call it. So you have got your study material, you will have online reading sites that are there. You can read from there, newspapers, magazines. You can read from the Hindu, the Indian Express, the various newspapers, Newsweek. Okay, let me list over here, right? You can read from the Hindu, the Indian Express, the Economist, the New York Times, the Washington Post, right? You can read the Harvard Business Review articles from there. You can read from National Geographic. You can read essays from sites like Aeon Essays. You can read from sciencedaily.com. There are so many other sites that are there. And obviously magazines like the Time International Magazine. Yes, Time International Magazine. Then there is the Newsweek. There is your very good magazines that we have here also, the Outlook. Yes, Business Today, Business World. Yes, there's no dearth of material that you can read from. And definitely, see, when we give you the study material, that's well curated in terms of the level of reading that is required for you, right? All right. So here, as you can see, yes. So critical reasoning is a major part of your reading practice. Now, when I talk about critical reasoning, uh, here, so when I say critical reasoning is tested in your RC part only, right? So you can have mainly, obviously, critical reasoning is there when you're deciding on the idea flow for paragraphs also. But the assumptions that the author has made in coming up with the particular passage that is written or sentence that is written, yes, assumptions, the conclusions that can be drawn, the inferences that can be made. So these are the three things that we as human beings constantly keep doing, right? But then here we have to do it very, very consciously based on the type of words, the degree of words that the author has used, the tone that the author has used, positive, negative, neutral, right? Along with this, definitely, questions are there that talk about which of these options would strengthen or weaken the author's opinion. Different types of critical reasoning questions are there. Now, there is variety in question types, not only in terms of critical reasoning. Yes, there is variety in terms of, yes, when you read the question carefully, some questions will say which of the following if true. Some will say which of the following if false. Some will say which one most supports the author's point of view, which one least supports. Most supports, that means there may be more than one option that supports. So you have to understand those things. Then number of questions would be having this very important word, the except word. So if it is highlighted, if it is given in bold, It's difficult to miss, but if you read very fast and it is not given in bold, then you may miss it. So reading the question carefully, you have to get into the habit of doing that. Having understood the passage, you need to understand the question also. Then only you will be able to arrive at the correct answer. So then you have the para-based questions that are there. We have already discussed them. Now, when it comes to, now, okay, in the first, as I said, everyday reading practice plus practice of all these types of questions that are there. Regular practice as and when you finish them in class, then you take up, from your exercises, regular practice of these question types that are there. Now, when you are practicing these questions, it is advisable that you don't do everything together. Reading every day. RC has to be done every day. But for para-based questions, you can decide that, okay, para summary, first week para summary, second week jumbled sentences, third week sentence completion, like that. You can devote one week to different types of para-based questions along with your reading comprehension practice. Now, when it comes to QA practice. Now, why I've taken up QA earlier, even though it comes as the third section, is because there are a number of basic calculation techniques that you learn in QA, which you will be using in the DILR also. So let us, yes, get along. Here, QA focus on foundation and basics again. Speed maths, quick calculation techniques, very important. Even though in the CAT exam, you will have an online calculator, still you need to practice these online speed maths techniques. Yes, the online calculator is there, but when you're typing in, you may make a mistake. Instead of a 6, you may type a 9, like that, right? So think here, because in the exam, what you need to do is you need to solve the question not in a very lengthy manner. Yes, so maybe, 2, 3 sentences if you're writing. Yes, if you're writing 2, 3 steps, instead of that, if you do it in your head, you can do it probably in one step itself. And answer elimination also becomes easier then. Very important. Yes, important to maintain a notebook of formulae and the shortcuts. How will you know the shortcuts? In the class when you're discussing the questions, or when you're analyzing the test that you've taken. So make a note of them. Maybe the long method that is there, but you need to know the shortcut also, because every second saved in the exam helps you answer a few more questions, right? Memorize tables till 25, squares till 30, cubes till 20. They will all help in your quick calculation techniques, fraction to percentage conversions. So initially, as I said, focus on all of these so that you and use them regularly when you're solving questions later on. The basic, arithmetic and algebra, you will focus more on these two. So you've got percentage, profit loss, simple interest, compound interest, ratio proportion, time and work, time and distance, AMA, linear quadratic equations, inequalities, logs, functions, basic. Yes, you will focus on arithmetic and algebra. Then when it comes to DILR, so yes, because you've done certain level of maths already. So quant-based reasoning, wherein you will be using the techniques that you've learned earlier in terms of calculation and all. Games and tournaments, you can focus on networks, Venn diagrams, not the 4 sets type, up to the 3 sets type. And along the way, my dear, every month when you are in the test series, you have the aimcats that are there. Do not miss the full length aimcats. Now, why I have to tell you this? Why? Because many students in the beginning feel that no, let us first finish with the whole syllabus. So it's going to take some time for you to finish with the syllabus in a thorough manner. And by that time, there will be a pile of aimcats. So take the MCATs, the topics that you've covered. You can judge for yourself whether you've understood those topics well or not. You will be learning honing your time management skills also in that, kind of focus that is required, whether you have that or not. So don't be scared of the MCATs in the beginning, even if you have covered only a part of the portion that is there, right? Then, so in the DILR part, you can go through the linear circular arrangements, syllogisms, basic tables, games, tournaments, Venn diagrams. All these we've talked about earlier, and how to read data. How to read data from tables, bar graphs, line charts, pie charts. Then the questions that are based on groupings, selection, matrix-based puzzles that are there, ranking. Now, DILR is like the you can say like the RC of Quant, right? There's so much of variety over there. So many different types of sets that are there. So you need to get acquainted with different types of sets and understand how to solve them based on the questions that are asked. Then when it comes to the next stage that is there, months 4 to 6, so VARC, accuracy and time management both. Earlier we were talking about more focus on accuracy. Time management, we said how to, take out time during the day for yourself. But now you need to focus on how to answer the questions in a limited time. So you can clock your timing. Then there are those sectional tests that are there. There are sectional tests of 3 levels: the basic level, the intermediate level, and the advanced level. So depending upon where your preparation is, yes, you can start with the basic tests, the VA sectional test, the RC sectional test. Very important after you take the test or after you have attempted questions from your exercise booklet also, the analysis. You need to analyze, okay, the last couple of tests that I've taken, I have made regular mistakes with the questions that were related to assumptions. So what is it that I'm not understanding properly? Am I reading too fast? Is vocabulary an obstacle for me? So you need to understand why you're getting your answers wrong, because you still have enough time to correct all that, right? To work on your weaknesses. So this goes for all the 3 sections that are there. Then you can work on the technique, strategy, how to eliminate options. Important again, do not miss the aimcats and the analysis of aimcat. In fact, you can maintain an Excel sheet for yourself wherein you can log in all the learnings from the aimcats, various aimcats that you take. Aimcats are full length mocks. Fine. Then when it comes to QA, again, here then you have to learn advanced concepts and applications now. Basics you were doing. Now you see the QA questions are, it's not necessary that they're going to be direct questions based on formulae. The questions can have various layers. More than one concept can be there for each question. You need to apply more than one concept to answer that particular question. Hence, very important that you practice well. So you can think of, all right, when it is geometry, whether it is geometry or number system, or when you see permutation, combination, probability, sequence series. So focus on these in the next months that are there. When I say focus, so again, there's accuracy and time management both. You need to make sure that you're working and balancing both. In between, sometimes it may happen that you have more work pressure or you have an exam coming up. Then obviously, that break will be there. Yes, but get back into the groove as soon as possible. It may happen sometimes that, you have been working hard with those questions, but those question types, but still your accuracy is not improving. Get in touch with your mentors at your centers, right? So that is how you have to remain focused, and you have to be very, very critical of everything that you're doing, that, okay, this is not working. So I'm not going to get sad about it, right? I'm going to work harder. It's a test, right? And you have enough time to prepare for it. So you have to have a very positive mindset. If in between, if you need a break, take a break. It's all right to take a break for a couple of days in between. If you feel that, it's getting to be too much. As I said, book your doubt sessions, book your counseling sessions talk to your mentors, and they'll be able to guide you very well. When it comes to DILR, again, advanced concepts and applications. And here there's something else, the mixed practice. This becomes very important. Case lists, Venn diagrams, the advanced types, wherein, there are 4 sets that are there, spider charts. So all are different types of questions that are there. And they're actually very interesting to, go through and to understand the logic behind finding the answer in the best possible manner in the shortest time. Set selection is something that you need to start doing. When you start with mixed practice, make sure that you focus on set selection also. Yes, then comes the last stage, that is the month 7 to 9. There intensive practice is required. Intensive practice, that means you have to be, as I said, really you have to pull up your socks, and there's no easy way over here now. So even if it's a difficult set or a difficult RC, then after your aimcat, after the test that you've taken, you need to go through it again. There is a particular way that you need to follow for your analysis. During the analysis, first go through the questions that you got wrong, understand why that happened. Was it because of lack of basic understanding, or reading too fast, or, as I said, uh, not focusing while reading? Mind is distracted. So you have to get that monkey mind back on track. And the best way to do it, my dear, is when you are, with respect to RCs, is that you write down the keywords. Initially, you write down the keywords, otherwise, keep the keywords in your mind. In fact, CAT has been giving questions related to the keywords of the paragraph or the passage. And eclectic reading, we've been talking about that. Start timing yourself. Each passage. So generally in CAT, the passages are around let's say 450 to 500 words with 4 questions each. So 4 passages with 4 questions each. So that makes it 16 questions coming from RCs, and the rest 8 coming from VA. So you know that you have to focus on RC. You cannot in any way avoid that. When it comes to refining your strategy, now, should I start with RC first? Should I start with VA first? Does CAT give you all the RCs in one, as a chunk, and all the VA questions then together? No. Yes, the CAT exam will have a mix. You may start with a couple of VA questions and then go on to a couple of RCs, go back to VA. So, but there is, when you go through the mocks, the aimcats will help you decide the manner in which you take CAT. That is why understanding the basics, practicing, knowing how to attempt not only the medium level questions, but the high level questions also, all that is very good, very important. But when it comes to translating all that knowledge in terms of taking the full length mocks, the MCATs, and judging yourself on the basis of the other candidates who will be taking the exam, because you'll be getting your percentiles there. So, yes, very important. So, you can refine your strategy, when to leave a question, how much time should you give to a particular question. Maintain an error log, deep analysis, we've spoken about that earlier, that it's good to maintain an Excel sheet. Revisit the MCATs. So during analysis, you will go through the questions that you got wrong, see what happened there, make a note of why you made certain mistakes, or if there are regular mistakes that you're making of a particular type. Then go through the questions that you did not take up. Then, and there, do not give yourself too much time, limited time. Then you go through the questions that you did take up, but maybe you took a lot longer than others, longer than the average time. So you know that your practice has to be better. All right. Then when it comes to QA, revision. There are so many chapters. Revision is very, very important. You cannot come to the seventh month and say that, oh, what I did in the first couple of months, now I have to redo all of them because I've forgotten everything. It should not be like that. That is the reason why even when you keep on taking regular aimcats, then you get to revise before every aimcat, and the previous parts also get revised. So revision is important. Advanced level sectionals, time for that. Question selection, how to run through the questions and decide that, okay, which are the easy questions that are there, the low hanging fruits as they are called, not to be missed, right? Which are the doable questions? They may take a little bit more time, but you will be able to conquer them. Then which are the questions that should be best left alone? So you have to master all of that. So question selection becomes very important. Revisit the MCATs, as we said earlier. Then when it comes to DILR, in the last stages, right? Set selection. Now, see, of all, there'll be a number of sets. It is most students, yes, are not able to uh, go through more than three in a more, in a thorough manner. 2 to 3 sets, not questions. Each set will have a number of questions, right? So, which set should you pick? Why should you, your practice should be such that maybe you can attempt more than 2 sets, also 3 sets. Or maybe you have the ability, you gain that ability to pick the easy questions from different sets. But for that, you need to understand the data that is given. The hidden things that are there in the wordings of the question. So all those things will come into play now, right? Strategy refinement, again, revisiting the MCATs. Very important. So to master CAT, you need to have a structured approach. And when we say structured approach, it's like, today let me do an RC, tomorrow I'll do something else. I'll pick on the another RC maybe, 10 days later. So that's a haphazard approach. You may actually go through everything in that manner, but neither will you be convinced that you've done everything well, that confidence will not be there, nor will it reflect in the exam. And you will be able to see that in your full length mock same cats even before the actual exam. So a structured approach to your preparation is very much required. And professional guidance comes into play over there. Right? Then AIMCATs on a regular basis, analysis, a must. Very important. Now, when you analyze, it should not be that, okay, analysis done and forgotten. There has to be learning from the analysis, which you will apply to the next exam. And finally, all these learnings together to the main exam that is there. There are, doubt clearing sessions. There are counseling sessions which you can avail of. You can check with your center. And these should be availed of, as in get your doubts. So if you don't practice, you won't have doubts. Or maybe there are no doubts related to the basic level questions or the medium level questions. Maybe the doubts will come up when the more difficult questions are there. And definitely, in the last stages, in 7 to 9 month, last 3 months, you will be practicing previous year CAT papers also. And a timed approach has to be there. Remember that. Without that, it becomes difficult. Difficult to compete with others who have been practicing in a very uh, structured manner. It's a percentile game, remember? And each of the top colleges that are there, they have their own equation for admission. Right? So the CAT percentile rather, plays a big role there. And cutoffs have to be met. And the higher the percentile, the more your chances to get a call for the interview, along with the essay writing or GD, whatever the college is, or anything else that the college is conducting in the next stage. So time to get set, go. for CAT 26, 9 months to go. And as I said, you're in the right frame. Steady approach, regular practice, and you will be there. So I hope this video has helped you. If you have any questions, you can come up with them now. Yes, any questions from you? As I said, questions will come when you start practicing. So take the next step towards your dream with time. And for any queries, do walk into the nearest time center that is there near your place. Or you can visit www.timeforeducation.com or write to us at info@timeforeducation.com. Do like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. In the months to come, there will be many, many very, very informative and useful videos for you. So good luck, everyone. And get ready with your schedule for the next 9 months to be able to crack CAT. All the best. Thank you. Done.
मजेदार नूडल्स है खाने
खाएंगे
लाओ
थोड़ा सा लो